The Awakening. Commander Elena Rodriguez stood at the observation deck of Project Starweaver, watching as ribbons of dimensional energy danced across the massive experimental vessel below. The ship didn't look like anything humanity had built before. Its hull seemed to exist in multiple states simultaneously, shimmering with patterns that hurt the eyes if you looked too long. Final neural interface checks complete, Commander. Dr. Kai Chen announced from his station, his fingers moving across holographic displays that monitored the unprecedented fusion of human consciousness and dimensional technology. The organic quantum matrix is stable at 99.7% efficiency. Elena nodded, her augmented eyes taking in streams of data from the ship's systems. After 15 years of secret development, humanity was about to attempt something that the galaxy's oldest civilizations had deemed impossible. The Starweaver wasn't just a ship, it was humanity's proof that consciousness itself could be the key to mastering dimensional space. All test pilots are in position, Lieutenant Sarah Hassan reported, her voice steady despite the tension that filled the control room. Dimensional field generators are charged and ready. Through the reinforced windows, Elena could see the massive ring structure that surrounded the Starweaver, designed to create a controlled dimensional pocket for the first test. If their theories were correct, human consciousness, properly augmented and integrated with their organic technology, could perceive and navigate higher dimensions in ways that purely mechanical systems never could. Begin primary sequence, Elena ordered, her hand unconsciously touching the neural interface port at the base of her skull. She would be joining the test pilots soon, connecting her mind directly to the Starweaver systems. The ship's organic quantum processors weren't just computers, they were an extension of human consciousness itself. The ring structure hummed to life, creating cascading waves of energy that twisted space in ways that classical physics couldn't explain. The Starweaver's hull responded, its surface rippling like liquid metal as it resonated with the dimensional frequencies. Dimensional pocket forming, Dr. Chen reported, his eyes wide as he watched the readings. Field stability at 94% and holding. That's far beyond what any simulation predicted. Elena allowed herself a small smile. The aliens who dominated galactic society had spent millennia trying to brute force their way through dimensional barriers with increasingly powerful technology. But humanity had taken a different approach, recognizing that consciousness itself might be the key to understanding higher dimensions. Neural interface activation in 3, 2, 1. The sensation was impossible to describe, like having your mind gently expanded into directions that shouldn't exist. Elena felt the other test pilot's consciousness merge with her own through the ship's organic systems, creating a collective awareness that extended far beyond normal human perception. Through their combined consciousness, they could see it, the higher dimensions that the aliens' mechanical sensors could never detect. The Starweaver wasn't just detecting these dimensions, it was becoming part of them, guided by the intuitive understanding of human minds working in perfect harmony. Commander, Lieutenant Hassan's voice cut through Elena's dimensional awareness, carrying an edge of urgency. We're detecting multiple ships dropping out of hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. Signs match known Varaxian Empire vessels. Elena's heart raced. The Varaxians were the galaxy's self-appointed guardians of dimensional technology, enforcing strict limits on what younger species were allowed to develop. They couldn't have picked a worse time to make an inspection of Earth's space. How did they detect us? Dr. Chen demanded, his hands flying across his console. The dimensional pocket should have masked all our experiments. They didn't, Elena realized, watching the sensor data through both conventional and dimensional awareness. They're here for a routine patrol. But if they detect what we're doing, the Varaxian Empire had spent thousands of years maintaining their technological superiority through strictly controlled development of dimensional technology. The idea that humanity might have found a completely different path to dimensional mastery, one that their mechanical systems couldn't even detect, would be seen as a threat to their entire power structure. We can't shut down the test, Dr. Chen warned. The dimensional pocket is too stable. A sudden collapse could tear apart half the solar system. Elena made her decision. Continue the sequence. Lieutenant Hassan, begin emergency protocol eclipse. Let's show our unwanted visitors exactly what humanity has achieved. The Starweaver's organic systems pulsed with power as the test pilots' combined consciousness fully merged with the ship's dimensional field. In that moment, Elena understood why the aliens' mechanical approach to dimensional travel had always been so limited. They were trying to force their way through dimensions that had to be understood, not conquered. As the Voraxian ships approached Earth, humanity's first 7th-Dimensional vessel prepared to demonstrate a truth that would shake the foundations of galactic society. Consciousness itself was the key to unlocking the true nature of reality. First contact gone wrong. The Voraxian ships emerged from hyperspace like crystalline predators, their geometric forms bristling with dimensional sensors that had dominated galactic space for millennia. Through the Starweaver's enhanced perception, Elena and her neural-linked crew could see the aliens' dimensional technology for what it really was: crude, brute force attempts to tear through space-time with pure power. Voraxian flagship is broadcasting, Lieutenant Hassan announced, her consciousness flowing through the ship's communication systems. They're demanding immediate inspection of all Earth dimensional research facilities. They're scanning us, Dr. Chen added, his mind merged with the Starweaver's sensor array. But their mechanical systems can't properly perceive what we're doing. To them, we must look like dimensional static. Elena felt the truth of his words through the ship's organic interface. The Voraxian sensors were trying to force reality into predetermined categories, missing the subtle interplay of consciousness and dimension that made the Starweaver possible. Attention Earth facility. The Voraxian message boomed through conventional channels. This is High Inspector Crix 427. Our sensors detect unauthorized dimensional manipulation. Submit to immediate inspection or face containment protocols. The threat was clear. Throughout history, the Voraxians had contained dozens of species they deemed too aggressive in their technological development. Some of those civilizations had simply disappeared from galactic records. They're deploying dimensional dampening fields, Dr. Chen warned, watching through both conventional and enhanced senses as the alien ships moved to surround Earth's orbital space. Standard procedure for them: isolate and control. Elena smiled, feeling the confidence of her neural-linked crew flowing through the Starweaver's organic systems. They're fighting the last war. Lieutenant Hassan, open a channel to the Voraxian flagship. Let's introduce ourselves properly. The ship's communications array pulsed with dimensional energy as it established contact. Through their enhanced perception, the crew could see the Voraxian surprise at the unusual signal method. This is Commander Elena Rodriguez of the Earth ship Starweaver, Elena transmitted, letting her consciousness touch the dimensional frequencies that the aliens' mechanical systems could barely detect. We acknowledge your authority in dimensional travel matters, High Inspector. Perhaps we could discuss this situation personally. There was a long pause before the response came. Impossible. High Inspector Crix 427's mechanical voice crackled. Our sensors detect no authorized dimensional technology in your vessel. You cannot possess communication capabilities on these frequencies. And yet, here we are, Elena replied. She gestured to Dr. Chen, who initiated the Starweaver's primary dimensional drive. The ship's organic hull rippled with consciousness-guided energy, shifting through dimensional states that the Voraxian sensors couldn't properly track. In moments, they had relocated their position to directly alongside the alien flagship, existing partially in dimensions that the Voraxians' mechanical systems couldn't even perceive. By the eternal void, the High Inspector's transmission carried genuine shock. What are you? We are humanity, Elena answered, letting the Starweaver's dimensional field gently brush against the alien vessel's shields. And we've discovered that consciousness itself is the key to understanding dimensional space. Your mechanical approaches to dimensional travel, they're like trying to understand music by measuring sound waves without ever actually listening. Through the ship's enhanced perception, Alina could sense the chaos erupting aboard the Voraxian vessel. Their sensors were overloading, trying to categorize phenomena that didn't fit any of their established models of reality. "This is forbidden," Crix 427 declared, their voice vibrating with what Alina recognized as fear. "Organic consciousness cannot safely interface with dimensional space. The Empire's research confirmed this centuries ago." "Your research was flawed," Dr. Chen transmitted. "You tried to force consciousness to conform to your mechanical understanding of dimensions. We simply allowed human consciousness to perceive dimensional space naturally, then built technology to work with that perception." The Voraxian ships began powering up their weapon systems, dimensional energy crackling around their crystalline hulls. "This advancement is too dangerous to permit," the High Inspector announced. "The Empire cannot allow uncontrolled dimensional manipulation. You will submit to containment." Alina felt the other test pilot's determination flowing through the neural interface. The Starweaver's organic systems pulsed with power as their combined consciousness prepared to demonstrate just how wrong the Voraxians were about the limitations of organic dimensional manipulation. "You're not listening, High Inspector," Alina transmitted, even as the alien ships moved to attack positions. "We're not seeking your permission. We're trying to warn you. Your mechanical approach to dimensional technology is fundamentally flawed. If you attack us, you'll learn that lesson the hard way." The Voraxian fleet's response was immediate and devastating, or would have been, if their weapons could properly target a ship that existed in dimensions their sensors couldn't fully perceive. The Starweaver's crew watched through their enhanced awareness as beams of destructive energy passed through space their vessel had occupied microseconds before. "Begin protocol awakening," Alina commanded, feeling the ship's organic systems respond to their combined consciousness. "Let's show the galaxy why humanity's understanding of dimensional space changes everything." The hidden power. The space around Earth erupted with dimensional energy as the Voraxian fleet unleashed their full arsenal. Beams of concentrated dimensional force capable of tearing apart the fabric of space itself lanced through the void, creating patterns of destruction that rippled through multiple planes of reality. But the Starweaver danced through dimensions the aliens couldn't even see, its organic systems guided by the intuitive understanding of its neural-linked crew. Through their enhanced perception, Alina and her team could see the fundamental flaw in the Voraxian approach. Their mechanical systems were damaging the very dimensional fabric they sought to control. "Commander," Dr. Chen's consciousness pulsed through the ship's neural network with urgent clarity. "The Voraxian weapons, they're not just attacking us. They're creating tears in dimensional space. If they continue." Alina saw it too. The aliens' brute force technology was having unintended consequences, creating cascading disruptions that threatened to destabilize the dimensional barriers protecting normal space. Their weapons weren't just dangerous to their targets, they were dangerous to reality itself. "High Inspector," Alina broadcast across all frequencies, her consciousness extending through dimensions the Voraxians couldn't access. "Your weapons are destabilizing the dimensional fabric. You have to stop before." Silence. Crix 427's transmission crackled with dimensional static. "Your primitive understanding of dimensional physics cannot comprehend the sophistication of Empire technology. We have controlled dimensional space for 10,000 years." Through the Starweaver's enhanced sensors, the crew watched in horror as reality began to fray around the Voraxian weapons. What the aliens saw as controlled bursts of dimensional energy were actually creating tears in spacetime that their mechanical sensors couldn't detect. "They really don't understand." Lieutenant Hassan's consciousness merged with the ship's defensive systems. "Their technology is like a child with matches, thinking they've mastered fire while setting the house ablaze." Alina felt the truth of those words resonating through the Starweaver's organic systems. The Voraxians' dominance of dimensional technology had led them to arrogance, believing their mechanical approach was the only valid path to understanding higher dimensions. "Multiple dimensional breaches detected," Dr. Chen reported, his awareness spreading through the ship's sensor array. The Varaxian weapons are creating feedback loops in the dimensional fabric. We're seeing cascading failures across all measured frequencies. Through their combined consciousness, the crew could see the approaching catastrophe. The aliens' weapons were tearing holes in reality that their mechanical systems couldn't detect, each blast creating ripples that threatened to tear apart the dimensional barriers protecting Earth. Starweaver's organic systems are detecting something else, Elena announced, her enhanced perception picking up patterns that even their advanced sensors struggle to categorize. The dimensional damage, it's not just from this battle. The Varaxians' technology has been causing micro-tears in spacetime for centuries. We're just the first species capable of perceiving it. The realization hit them all through the neural interface. The Varaxians' entire approach to dimensional travel was fundamentally flawed. Their mechanical systems forced their way through dimensional barriers, leaving countless invisible wounds in the fabric of reality. The damage had been accumulating for millennia, and now their weapons were threatening to tear those ancient wounds wide open. All crew, prepare for full dimensional integration, Elena commanded, feeling the Starweaver's organic systems respond to their combined will. The Varaxians won't listen to warnings, so we'll have to show them. Dr. Chen, initiate protocol revelation. The ship's consciousness-guided technology pulsed with new purpose as the crew's awareness expanded to encompass dimensions the Varaxians had never imagined. Through their enhanced perception, they could see not just the aliens' weapons, but the cumulative damage their civilization had inflicted on the dimensional fabric of space itself. By all that's sacred, Lieutenant Hassan whispered through the neural link. Their entire empire is built on technology that's slowly destroying reality. Every jump drive, every weapon, every sensor array. They're all creating micro-tears in spacetime. Elena watched through multiple dimensions as the Varaxian fleet continued their assault, their mechanical sensors blind to the catastrophe they were causing. The Starweaver's organic systems hummed with power as humanity prepared to demonstrate why consciousness itself was the key to saving dimensional space from those who thought they had mastered it. All systems ready, Dr. Chen announced, his consciousness merging more deeply with the ship's dimensional field. Protocol revelation is online. The Varaxians are about to learn why humanity's evolution took a very different path from their mechanical empire. The Starweaver's organic hull began to pulse with consciousness-guided energy, preparing to reveal truths about dimensional space that would shatter 10,000 years of Varaxian certainty. The true power of human consciousness was about to be unleashed, not to destroy, but to heal the wounds in reality that mechanical technology had blindly created. Turning point. The dimensional fabric of space trembled as the Starweaver initiated protocol revelation. Through their neural interface, Elena and her crew extended their enhanced consciousness into realms the Varaxians' mechanical sensors couldn't detect. The organic ship's hull rippled with energy patterns that existed in dimensions beyond conventional spacetime. Dimensional visualization active, Dr. Chen announced, his consciousness flowing through the ship's sensor arrays, transmitting what we see to the Varaxian fleet. For the first time, the aliens would see the true state of dimensional space, not through their limited mechanical sensors, but through the enhanced perception of human consciousness. The Starweaver broadcast pure dimensional awareness across all frequencies, forcing the Varaxians to witness the damage their technology had wrought. By the eternal void, High Inspector Crix 427's transmission carried genuine horror. These readings, they cannot be accurate. Our dimensional mastery is absolute. Look again, Elena commanded, directing the Starweaver's sensors to focus on the worst of the dimensional tears. Your mechanical systems see what they're programmed to see. Human consciousness, properly enhanced, sees what's actually there. Through their shared awareness, the crew watched as reality itself seemed to shudder. The Varaxians' weapon fire had triggered a cascade effect, causing ancient dimensional wounds to split open like cracks in ice. Space-time itself was beginning to unravel around them. Multiple dimensional breaches expanding, Lieutenant Hassan reported, her mind linked with the ship's defensive systems. The Varaxian fleet's energy emissions are accelerating the deterioration. At this rate, we have less than 30 minutes before the tears become irreparable. Elena felt the truth of those words through the Starweaver's organic systems. The aliens' technology wasn't just damaging spacetime, it was pushing reality toward a breaking point that their mechanical sensors couldn't even detect. Centuries of accumulated damage were about to collapse into catastrophe. Your weapons. Dr. Chen broadcast to the Varaxian fleet, his consciousness extending through dimensions their sensors struggled to perceive. They're not just tearing holes in spacetime. They're creating resonance patterns that amplify old damage. Your entire approach to dimensional technology is fundamentally flawed. Through the neural interface, Elena sensed something changing in the Varaxian response. Their ships had stopped firing, their crews finally beginning to comprehend the scope of what humanity had discovered. The aliens' mechanical sensors were starting to detect echoes of the dimensional damage, even if they couldn't fully perceive its true nature. "This is impossible," Crix 427 transmitted, but the certainty had drained from their voice. The Empire's dimensional mastery is based on 10,000 years of scientific development. We cannot be wrong. Science isn't about being right or wrong, Elena responded, feeling the Starweaver's organic systems pulse with potential solutions. It's about understanding. Your mechanical approach to dimensional technology was revolutionary for its time, but it's like trying to perform surgery wearing steel gauntlets. The tools themselves prevent the precision you need. The dimensional tears continued to spread, reality groaning as spacetime threatened to collapse. Through their enhanced perception, the Starweaver's crew could see the approaching point of no return, the moment when the damage would become too severe for even consciousness-guided technology to repair. "We can help," Elena broadcast to the increasingly desperate Varaxian fleet. The Starweaver wasn't just designed to navigate dimensional space. Its organic systems, guided by human consciousness, can actually heal these tears. But we need you to power down your technology completely. Every active piece of Varaxian dimensional tech is making the damage worse. There was a long pause, filled with the silent screaming of wounded reality. Elena could sense the conflict in the Varaxian response. Their entire civilization was built on their supposed mastery of dimensional space. To admit their approach was flawed would shake the foundation of their empire. "The dimensional collapse is accelerating," Dr. Chen warned through the neural link. "We're detecting cascading failures across all measured frequencies. If we're going to act, it has to be now." Elena felt the Starweaver's organic systems resonating with their combined consciousness, ready to attempt something never before possible in the history of dimensional space. They couldn't force reality to obey mechanical rules, but they could work with it, guide it, help it heal itself. "High Inspector," Elena transmitted, her consciousness touching dimensions the Varaxians were only now beginning to perceive. "Your empire has survived for 10,000 years because you were willing to do whatever was necessary to protect civilization. Are you willing to do that now? Even if it means accepting that everything you believed about dimensional space was incomplete." The fate of reality itself hung in the balance as humanity prepared to demonstrate why consciousness, not mechanical force, was the key to truly understanding the nature of dimensional space. The Starweaver hummed with power, its organic systems ready to attempt the impossible, healing the fabric of space-time itself. Evolution's edge. For a moment that seemed to stretch across dimensions, silence filled the wounded space around Earth. Then, High Inspector Crix 427's transmission cut through the dimensional static. "All Varaxian vessels, power down dimensional systems. Immediately." Elena felt the change through the Starweaver's organic sensors as the alien fleet's technology went dark. The constant background resonance of mechanical dimensional manipulation faded, leaving only the groaning of reality's torn fabric. "Dimensional decay slowing," Dr. Chen reported, his consciousness spreading through the ship's sensor array. "But the existing damage is still critical. The tears aren't healing themselves." "They wouldn't," Elena responded, feeling the truth through their neural link. The Varaxians' technology has been forcing dimensional space into unnatural configurations for so long, reality has forgotten how to flow properly. We need to remind it. The Starweaver's organic hull pulsed with consciousness-guided energy as Elena and her crew prepared to attempt something unprecedented. They weren't going to try to force reality to heal. They were going to show it how to remember its natural state. All crew, prepare for full consciousness integration. Elena commanded. We're not just going to perceive dimensional space, we're going to become part of it. Lieutenant Hassan, begin protocol harmony. Through their enhanced awareness, the crew felt their consciousness expand beyond the ship's systems, touching the wounded fabric of space-time itself. The sensation was indescribable, like becoming aware of muscles you never knew you had. Only these muscles existed in dimensions beyond normal space. By all that's sacred, High Inspector Crix 427 transmitted, their mechanical sensors detecting echoes of what the humans were attempting. Your consciousness, it's actually merging with dimensional space itself. How is this possible? Because we're not trying to control it, Dr. Chen responded, his awareness spreading through tiers in reality that the Varaxian sensors could barely detect. Consciousness doesn't just observe dimensions, it's part of them. Always has been. We just had to remember how to listen. The Starweaver's organic systems hummed with power as the crew's combined consciousness touched the dimensional wombs. Through their enhanced perception, they could feel the natural flows and patterns of reality, and how the Varaxians' mechanical manipulation had disrupted them. Beginning dimensional restoration, Elena announced, feeling the ship's organic technology amplify their consciousness across multiple planes of existence. We're not going to force the tiers close. We're going to remind space-time how to flow naturally. Through dimensions the Varaxians had never imagined, the Starweaver's crew began their work. Their consciousness flowed through reality's wounds like water through parched earth, not forcing healing but encouraging it. Where mechanical technology had created rigid barriers and unnatural states, they showed space-time how to remember its fluid nature. Dimensional integrity improving, Lieutenant Hassan reported, her awareness tracking the changes across multiple planes of reality. The tiers are starting to seal themselves. It's like reality itself is remembering how to heal. The Varaxian fleet watched through their mechanical sensors as space-time began to repair itself. Their technology could detect the effects, even if it couldn't fully perceive the process. Centuries of accumulated damage began to fade as reality remembered its natural patterns. This changes everything, High Inspector Crix 427 transmitted, their voice carrying a mix of awe and concern. The Empire's entire understanding of dimensional physics needs to evolve. Elena completed the thought, feeling the last of the dimensional tiers seal themselves. Just like humanity did. We didn't try to force our way into understanding dimensions. We let them teach us how to perceive them naturally. The Starweaver's organic hull shimmered with consciousness-guided energy as the crew began to withdraw their awareness from the healed dimensional space. Through their enhanced perception, they could see reality settling back into its natural rhythms, free from the rigid constraints of mechanical manipulation. Your species, the High Inspector's transmission carried genuine wonder. You've achieved something we never even considered possible. The Empire's Council will need to completely reassess our approach to dimensional technology. That's not all they'll need to reassess, Elena responded, feeling the truth of it through the Starweaver's organic systems. The galaxy is ready for a new understanding of dimensional space, not as something to be conquered or controlled, but as something we're all already part of. We just need to remember how to see it. As the Varaxian fleet prepared to depart, their mechanical systems forever changed by what they had witnessed, Elena felt the significance of the moment through the neural interface. Humanity hadn't just proved itself capable of matching the galaxy's oldest civilization. They had shown them a completely new way of understanding reality itself. The Starweaver hung in Earth orbit, its organic hull still shimmering with consciousness-guided energy. Through their enhanced perception, The crew could see the dimensional fabric of space healing itself, reality flowing naturally once again. They had done more than save space-time from collapse. They had opened the door to a new era of dimensional understanding, where consciousness itself was the key to unlocking the universe's deepest mysteries. The age of purely mechanical dimensional manipulation was over. The future belonged to those who could learn to listen to reality itself, and humanity was ready to help guide the galaxy into this new understanding. The Starweaver's mission was just beginning.